Hello and welcome to Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction brought to you by the Modular Building Institute. Welcome everyone. My name is John McMullen. I'm the marketing director here at MBI. Today I'm joined by Eric Kwong, founder of AluHouse USA. Eric is here to talk about the growth of AluHouse and how other modular building companies can scale internationally. Eric, welcome.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Tell me about yourself, Eric. What's your background and how did you end up in modular construction?
Yeah, my name is Eric. I'm the founder of the AluHouse USA. So I started the business 12 years ago. It was founded in Hong Kong because I'm from Hong Kong. But I was studying in the state, my high school and my college. So I was US educated, and then I went back to my family business for 10 years. And then I start my company back in the 2014. Um, I, to be honest, I'm not a architect or engineering background. I'm a purely business business graduated from USC, California. Um, the reason I moved into modular was just like a coincidence that I have. Back in the day, my family business was doing, is still currently doing the aluminum extrusion, which we do a lot of architecture profiles and applications for high rise and curtain wall stuff like that. So we're quite familiar with the construction industry. And one day we want to build something inside a factory like a guest house, you know. But we're in southern China, which is like the weather is like Florida, humid, hot, and we have termite for the timbers, problems like this. So since we're doing aluminum, and then we were thinking, oh, why don't we try to build something with aluminum profiles? Because we have all these mold dies and presses, so we can make something out of it. And we did something out of it, and then it was great actually. It was like a 400 square feet, about 400 square feet size, like a small modular unit, and then we put the interior fit out and everything in there, and it looked nice, because the coating from aluminum, it can be powder coating or PVDF. We can have different kind of colors. So we did it very nicely, and then we have the big glass made out of glass like a facade, and then people likes it, and then we was like, oh, we can make houses in aluminum, and then this is how I started my first modular house with aluminum, and this is how my company was named it.
Well, that makes sense to me now. Tell me, how has your vision for the company changed since you started with these smaller aluminum structures in China? How has your vision changed as you've grown internationally?
So yeah, it's a long journey. So at the beginning we were doing since people likes it, and back in the day we were doing a lot of like Airbnb types of resort hotel, like the individual unit, one story, double story with aluminum modular. Yeah, we did quite well back in the day. We sell couple hundred units a year. And until 2017, when the Hong Kong government is announcing a new scheme for building houses, because back in the day, even now, we have labor issue. Like we have aging problems. We don't have enough labor. People doesn't want to enter the industry. I think it's the same problem everywhere in the world, in US, in Australia, a lot of in Europe as well. So we're facing the same problem. So the Hong Kong government has imposed a scheme to build something called modular integrated construction. At that time, I was looking at it because I'm from Hong Kong, so I go back to my city and then explore this opportunity in Hong Kong. So I was looking at it. Oh, it's just some modular build from the factory and installed it on site, but it's higher, a little bit higher because in Hong Kong we build high rise because we don't have enough land. So it is exactly what I'm doing, but it's just a different type of structures. They are using steel structure and even concrete structure. So very similar to what we are doing. So at that point, then I start to go back to Hong Kong and work with the Hong Kong government to do these modular business, and we were quite successful for the last since 2017 until now. So we have expanded from aluminum structure modular into steel structure modular, and also concrete structure modular. And we build higher and higher. For steel structure, we our system can go up to 34, 35-story high. And even for concrete structure, we go up to 40 to 45-story high. So it's a journey that we learn and adopt, and we're learning every day.
Your company started in Hong Kong. You grew your business there, but when you started to move out into other markets, what was that process like?
So yeah, so for the last 8 years, we learn a lot from Hong Kong. We have our own design team, R&D team, and even our construction team. We do our own installation, the setting out ourselves. So we have a lot of experience that we learn. And Hong Kong is following the British standard building code. So it's quite similar to some like the Western world, the foreign world. We have our own QA system, which is very detail orientated, material compliance, everything is done properly. So we have the experience, and then we want to move forward to expand our knowledge to the different part of the world to help the housing crisis or solving housing problem to different countries. We have been established a new base in Saudi Arabia, which is a mostly a concrete modules manufacturer. It's a JV with a local partner, and we are in negotiating to set up another factory in the state as well. So yeah, I mean we have been going to Australia as well, New Zealand, US, and Saudi, because we know a lot of things and we're complying different country building code. Yeah, this is what we do, and we have a strong design R&D team behind us.
Well, you've obviously been very successful expanding all over the world. How do you decide which markets are worth entering versus those that just look attractive but maybe aren't yet viable?
I think one thing that we look at when we go to each market is the potential of growth. So back in the day, let's say for United States, back in 2017 when we first sent our modules to US, people doesn't have, well, they have some idea of what is modular, but they don't have a deep knowledge about it. From what they know, modular is something like a manufactured home that is put in the RV park. But actually, over the years, modular can do a lot that you can imagine, like high-rise building, like mid-rise apartment, school, hospital, public facility, a lot of things that it can be done in modular, but you just need to do it in a proper way. So yeah, I mean, over the years, people recognize it now. So there's a potential to grow. So this is why we entered the US market, and US market is one of the biggest market in the world. This catch our interest. The other thing is, whereas the labor cost is high and limited, this is another market that we can look at. Because, for example, Australia, they don't have enough laborers to build. They have shortage of housing, and their construction is going higher and higher. Some of the places is even higher than US. So they need some other solution to build. Otherwise, they have shortage every year, and then once they accumulate, the shortage will be huge. So this is one of the reason too. We step into the Australian and New Zealand market, and also in Middle East. Middle East fast growing country. I mean the region, fast growing region. Even though with the war right now, but I think it will be very settled very soon. But once it's settled, it will start again and build. And in Saudi and even in Dubai, they're building every day. They have a lot of foreign neighbors, but they see some solution to that, which we all agree that the factory built modular has a better quality than the on-site building craftsmanship. So yeah, this is the solution for them, and they like it.
As you've scaled internationally, and you've mentioned bringing on steel frame construction, concrete construction, modular construction all over the world, as you've scaled up, what's been the biggest operational challenge that you've faced, and how did you solve that?
Well, if you go to every country, they have their own cultural that you need to adopt. For example, Middle East, you need to adopt the culture because they are Muslim country. There's some rules and restriction that compared to China, and you need to follow that. You need to respect that, the culture. So we have modific we in our management we adapt local what is required. And with our management experience, we mix and match. This is how we usually do. Um, we cannot take whatever is success in one country and put it into another country. It won't work. Same as US. US has its own regulation and law. So we need to respect that and follow that. Yeah, but in overall run, um, we tailor made our management style to different part of the world for manufacturing.
That's a great point, Eric. I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's very easy to forget, really, the importance of local culture, local traditions, and really what that means for businesses. Just to pivot, though, for a second, I was looking at your website preparing for this conversation, and you talk a lot about supply chain integration. What does that mean for Alu House and its day-to-day operations?
Well, for us, we have unique supply chain for ourselves. Um, Okay, as obviously, my family business is doing aluminum extrusion. They have been very helpful to us for some of the aluminum supplies. For example, the aluminum for windows and doors, and also the facade. Because most of our facade we are using aluminum, like a curtain wall type or the panel type. Um, that's have been helping me a lot, for part of the there's a supply that we I don't need to rely on other people. And we ourselves we have our own window facade manufacturer as well, so we don't have to buy window from someone else. We have our own certification of windows, different part of the country, the US NFRC or the Australian or the British standard windows. We have all these certification that we have got. And so we have windows facade, and outside of what we buy in China, as you know, now these days they are they have almost everything coming out of China. So we have a very strong supply chain of supplier, I mean, from my resources. So I can get things very easily. I can get the steel easily. I can get ASTM steel or AS standard steel or BS standard steel. I can get it very easily and very accessible. So the steel, the concrete, or the fireboard, or the plumbing, or the bathroom, the sanitary stuff that I can get it very accessible, and I have a very short lead time to get in them. So yeah, this is some advantage I have developed over the years.
For your commercial projects and just commercial projects in general, where does modular, in your opinion, clearly outperform traditional construction today? You mentioned earlier in the conversation that in some parts of the world, the standard for construction is much lower. It's poorer quality than modular. Can you speak some more about the advantages of modular and maybe if there are some ways where modular is still catching up to traditional construction?
I think one thing modular need to follow is, as long as they are very standardized, it will be very easy to manufacture and very efficient. But custom projects like the six-star hotel, it still needs some work on modular. It's because it's fully customized, like a Rosewood six-star hotel or St. Regis hotel. Um, I would say 50-50. Maybe the framing, the box itself can be um done in modular way, but some interior fit out, maybe half of them can be done in the factory, half of them need to be do on site because of the complexity. Because there will be joint. When you put the joint, put the box, put the modules together, there will be joint. But you know, six-star hotel, they don't allow that. They don't want ugly joint. But because of that, that part of it will be need to be that part of the interior fit out need to be done in the on site. So it can be done, but hospital is another way to is in and I mean clinical. I should say clinical sector is another potential to grow because of the complexity of the MEP that involved with the system. If we can, because we have done that, the one of the three of the hospital projects, the MEP is, if you can done it in the factory, it's faster and more efficient than do it on site. Because usually you build a project take years. If you do it in modular way, if you can resolve the MEP problem, I mean not the problem, I mean do it in the factory, it'll be a lot faster.
In your experience building all over the world, different types of materials, different types of projects, what do you find that developers and owners are still getting wrong about modular construction?
Well, a lot of people, like I said, they still think modular is still some boxes in your backyard. This is the current mindset that they have. Like I said, I mean, we have done a lot in Hong Kong over the years. We built everything, like private resident, public housing, school, hospital, public facilities, and a lot of dormitories, like student housing. We can do anything, but they just don't realize it because no one has done it before. No one has given the. I think they starting doing right now, but it's not as much adopt as Hong Kong government has pushed forward to different sector yet. But it can be done.
Last question for you. Looking ahead, where is AluHouse focused next? And what advice would you give companies who are trying to scale internationally right now?
So my advice is, if anyone try to do international expansion, um, first of all, you need to understand the market, the local market deeply, understand the culture. This is very important because cultural conflict can cost you a failure because you don't respect the culture, people doesn't like you, doesn't people disobey you. Once they learn, they fly away. This is the risk that you need to keep in your mind. You need to respect the local, work with them. It become a win-win situation. This is very important. Looking ahead for us, we will focus what we have started and try to expand it to different more countries. Um, US is a new base, so we will focus on that as well. It's a huge market, and then we will probably have one or two more facility in the state. So yeah, it's a long journey for us.
Well, Eric, I really appreciate your time today. It was great to meet you in Las Vegas a few weeks ago at World of Modular. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your time today. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, John. It's my honor. Thank you very much for your time.
My name is John McMullen. This has been another episode of Inside Modular, the podcast of commercial modular construction. Until next time.